Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University again. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson, episode 4 in our series on macro management. We're going to turn to carbs now, and we left off with fat, discussing how there's some interplay between carbs and fat. So we've got your calorie energy balance taken care of. We know where your protein's going to be based on research. We know where your fat's going to be based on percentage and again, evidence-based material plus your preference. Now the rest, if you're tracking along with the way we create programming, is going to be carbohydrates, which means you do get carbohydrate. We're not advocates necessarily of super low or ketogenic diets. Again, another place where you can use some of those principles where it may apply. But why, Adam, do we not do keto? Why do two guys who've been coaching this long, who know the science, why do we still allow people to eat carbohydrates?
Yeah, we'll do some bullet points here, but the first is you're going to get better thermic effect of food. You're also going to increase your metabolic rate, and also you're going to push kind of more water in the muscle tissue and have that more instantaneous energy versus, maybe a meal that you ate 2 days ago. So I feel like you can just control the energy levels better. If you eat a high fat meal, you might be waiting on that for 2 days. And if you're like, I really want to train hard tomorrow, you can kind of take care of that in that meal and be ready for the next day.
Yeah, I had a client I was discussing this with, and her background was to do a lot of very low carb ketogenic dieting. And so this is a bit of a transition, and she wasn't necessarily super comfortable with it, but she was willing to try. And after about the second week, she said, I am really starting to feel good. I really have energy for my training and so forth. And a lot of times people will just push through dieting. I mean, they're willing to pay the price, deal with the sacrifice. But my gosh, when you can use carbohydrate and it's not to your detriment, but it's to your advantage, as you're describing, Adam, which it is on every level, it just doesn't make sense. Calorie for calorie, even if somebody was really under the gun and we just had to be dieting as hard as possible, pure keto is not necessarily the best path forward, to get to that goal. So maybe short stretches, maybe modified where it is lower carbs because overall calories are coming down. But carbs are just important for anabolism, anti-catabolism, for metabolic suppression, protection. So I think you totally nailed it there, Adam.
Yeah, we see it all the time where we get clients from previous keto coaches and they do it kind of like, I hate to say our way, because we're dynamic and we have keto clients as well, more so based on preference or maybe they have some kind of issue that they're working through that we're putting them on keto. But yeah, it really can make a big difference just being prepped properly. And it's hard because you're just, as coaches, you see it anecdotally, and you're just never going to get the opportunity to have two twins and one diet keto and one diet, with high carbs. And, it's just hard to have those kind of experiments, that really prove this to people.
Well, interestingly, within your own body, you can. And some of the best studies do show, one group keto, one with carbs. Then they do a washout period and they reverse it. And they look at, who started one way, who started the other way, how much time was in between. And so they really can determine, which are better for preserving metabolism and muscle tissue and so forth. And of course, carbs always wins. Kevin Hall at the NIH is just a huge researcher in this area. But one of the things that we need to discuss before we move on to the next episode is the fact that once you've got your protein and your fat set, carbs being kind of what's left, you can still do kind of what I would call a smell test, see, is this really enough? Because I know for my own body, if I'm starting to diet, I know what 100 grams of carbs a day feels like. I know what 150 feels like. I know what 200 feels like. I know for maintenance levels, I need to eat around 300 or a little bit more. So once you have that repertoire in your mind, your own body, you just kind of know exactly where you need to start. I think that's an important thing to start analyzing in yourself as a competitor.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, stay tuned. We're going to close this out in our 5th and final episode next. We will see you next time in Contest Prep University.